Hi everyone, Serena here. Thanks for joining me today on my YouTube channel. I am really excited to be sharing with you a review of the book Artist Journal Workshop by Cathy Johnson. It's really a beautiful book and I'm excited to share it with you. Let's take a look. Now, this book was published in 2011 and it combines two of my favorite things that I enjoy, creating art and journaling. Now, when you get used books, you never quite know what you're going to find, but look at this. Now, obviously we know where it came from. Now, I saw this in the book and I realized that whoever put it in, you couldn't take it out. Now, most of the time when you get these cards in here, these gift cards, they're on the outside of the package. So somebody obviously took it off the outside of the package and purposely put it on here. So the seller of the book really couldn't pull it off. And I'm glad they didn't, because take a look why. Now, I tried every way to get my camera to focus, but for some reason it doesn't seem to want to. But I'll read this to you anyway. It says, "Happy birthday, Mom. I'm so glad you're taking your art class. I thought you would really enjoy this book and maybe it will inspire you to do some drawing while you're in Italy. Love, Laura." Now, as far as I'm concerned, everybody needs a Laura in their life. And everybody needs to be the person that takes the art class. If you're thinking about a new class, an art class, don't put it off. Make time to make that your goal and sign up for it, please. And can you imagine Italy? Italy, oh my God, Italy and Paris are the destinations of choice for every artist in the U.S. You know, landscape, plein air, you know, the gardens in Europe, and the museums. Oh boy, the museums, can you imagine? Now, I wonder if she actually took the class and what kind it was. I hope she didn't take one of those quick tours, you know, see 40 sites in a week, where you see all the sites, but, you know, you don't really have time to experience them. I wonder if she had time to sketch them. Don't you wonder what the rest of the story was? Now, this gift card is to a writer what the book is to artists. A writer could actually use these few sentences that are in the card to write a whole book about the mom's adventure in Italy. And this is what Cathy Johnson does and gives to her readers. She gives you prompts and ideas. So let's take a closer look at the book. She jumps right in this book to the section table of contents and then getting started. And basically, she wants you to think about what you want to get out of this journal. How do you want to use it? She gives you these questions. Questions 1, what do you want from your journal? What will go into your journal? And then, when or how do you see yourself journaling? So these are prompting questions to get you thinking about what you're going to use your actual journal for, because there are no real rules. I mean, you can use it for anything, but the goal is to try to combine your drawing with your actual daily activities or your notes and so forth. So it's not just a drawing or painting journal or sketching journal. And she goes through all these tips or ways to think about your journal. Then she gets into your materials. So she talks about the journal itself. What are you going to use for your journal? And it can be anything from a notebook like she used, spiral-bound notebook. That's what she first started her journaling in. And on down to the fanciest journal you want to buy, or a custom-made journal. Now, she goes into other materials and supplies. She goes through those sections. And even little things that you might not think about, like she uses a gray-blue pencil. I don't know if you can see this. I'll focus this a little bit closer for you. I don't know if it'll autofocus. See how she uses that gray pencil? It's a watercolor pencil, and she just uses a little bit of a wash with it. I think that's a very interesting technique. It's something that lends a little bit of difference to your journaling. It's not just pen and ink. It's not just watercolor. It's a little bit of a different effect with that. So I like that. Let me get that back down there. That's just one of the ideas, but she goes through all different types of materials that you can use, and she gives you little tips on what, how the materials will work for you. And then she talks in chapter 2 about how you can test your materials, trying out those materials, doing different things with them. She's got little try it sections where she demonstrates how different materials can work for you and what different effects you can get, how versatile some of the materials are. It's amazing. And it's just a very nice book that gives you a lot of different ideas, and she does use other artists' journals in here. She gives you different samples of their journals, and sometimes their quotes, why they do a certain thing, how they use the journal, their journals. And then in chapter 3 she talks about exploring journals and different focuses for the journals. So this is very nice, full of a lot of color illustrations, just very, very interesting layouts that she and other artists use as they go through their journals. Of course, nature journaling is very popular. And what I like, there's a few sections here I really like. I'm going to skip over to those. This one I like particularly. There it is, right there. It's a spiritual journal. Hard to say, but very interesting. And this one is a sample from Maria Hodkin's journal entry. And she captions it as, Maria Hodkin's journal entries often capture the spiritual. Here the sense of peace is almost palpable. I mean, look at that beautiful glowing fire. Not quite sure why the crow is on there, or back of it. That would be rather hot. But she's got the fire gloves there to give that sense of heat and warmth. You can't touch it without the gloves on. So it kind of gives you that mood. And this is from Maria Hodkins. She says, when journaling, I enter a meditative, grateful state and feel connected to something larger than myself. Journaling is a sensory path to the profound, an artful spiritual practice for my life through all its seasons. And her little caption or little note in the page itself is, dark December morning. It says, enjoying a quiet, cloudy morning, sketching and soaking up the warmth from the wood stove. And that's very nice there. Here's another one that I thought was very interesting, how colors can inspire a doodle. Like, instead of using just your regular color swatching, which I've just started learning to do in my journal because I want to use the colors on the paper I'm going to use them on. It makes a big difference. Sometimes you have other swatch paper and you'll make a swatch of those colors on another paper, and then it looks totally different when you use it on your journal paper. So I've started to set aside a section in my journals just for color swatching. But here's a very interesting use of that. You see how she swatches those few colors right there and uses them in a little diagram, a little doodle there. And she uses the colors of the rain and puts them there. She's got the colors of the sun and the sky and makes a little sketch of it there. So that's a very interesting and creative way to do your swatching. And then she gets into how to make journaling your lifestyle. How to fit it into your life. Your life is busy. You're doing a lot of things. And if you journal and write text in your journal, that's great. If you have time to paint, that's great. Sometimes it's hard to find time to do both, but this gives you an excuse to kind of do both. But she gives you all kinds of tips and things to think about. Working fast, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can set aside a half an hour, limit yourself to 30 minutes. I know a lot of people challenge themselves when they're sketching to do a 10-minute sketch or a 30-minute sketch or something. And even that is very productive. Even if you don't finish it, it's okay. There are no rules. So it's, it's very flexible. I like that about this book. She doesn't seem to put pressure on you. It's not like, oh, you try to do a page a day. It's just very relaxed, but, you know, she does make a point that it's important to make time. It's important to give yourself permission to do journaling. And then in the end, she talks about putting it all together, some of her final thoughts here. And I like particularly this one section here. I like this final thought she has here. And she says, close this book, open your journal, pencil or paints in hand, look around, the world is yours. I love that. That's just a great way to end the book. And she gives you also resources for getting more information, and I noticed on this that the binding is quite open. So I'm hoping to think that the owner of the book, the mom from the beginning, actually used this book quite a bit in order to make that binding open like that. So let's hope she had a great trip in Italy, and I would love to see her journal or what she painted, but I suppose we never will. Let's just leave it to imagination. Now she has in the end a metric conversion chart, which is handy because many times if I'm looking at papers, for example, watercolor papers or sizes of sketchbooks, they've got the A4 and all that, but the sizes will be in centimeters. And, you know, in America, we tried to get onto the metric system years and years ago, and it failed. I mean, I never learned how many kilometers are in a liter, so it's not going to work. Give it up. But this is very nice that she adds that in there. She's got a index in the back, so that helps you if you're looking for a specific thing on this journal. Now, I did love the illustrations in this book. I love the examples. I love the tips and suggestions, especially helpful for blank page syndrome. Ah, nice new pages. What should I draw? So if you're looking for something different in your art journaling, this book has great ideas to spark creativity. In fact, overall, the feel is anything goes. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you'll give this book a look. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.